Hello, welcome to another video. And today I want to talk about Saquon Barkley. I know I was gonna play Monster Hunter Wilds, but I have not even gotten around to playing it yet. I just got home and everything was a bit crazy. So hopefully Friday you'll see Monster Hunter Wilds. But big Philadelphia Eagles news out there that Saquon Barkley, who, let's put into context, oh good, my hair's all up, just signed a 3-year contract this past offseason, which was great. It turned out wonderful. They won the Super Bowl, and he was the best running back season ever for the Eagles. And some could argue in the league history, but not here to argue about that. And the Eagles have decided to reward him with another contract by extending him 2 more years at $41.2 million, making him, on average over $20 million a year, which is the first time it's happened for a running back. It's crazy money. And we have Saquon Barkley for 4 more years. I would assume 3 is probably the full guarantee. 4th year is where, maybe they can cut him and save money. I don't know. You're not going to hear, very in-depth NFL cap talk because it's its own fucking sport at this point. If you understand it to the letter of the law, you are probably better than most lawyers. But with that being said, my first reaction to this news was just very kind of weird, if I'm being honest, because while I get it, obviously, it's very not Eagles thing to do to sign him to this extension, mainly because there was no reason to. When you have players sitting out and stuff like that, that is typically when they're going into their last year and they wanted the security of an extension type stuff and they are underpaid and they just want to scrap the year, new contract, go from there. This isn't like that. He was just signed. There's 2 more years left in his deal. Obviously, the extension is worth more than the deal, honestly. The extension alone is worth more than his first contract, which was worth $37.75 million. And this is 41, which is pretty goddamn crazy. And it is very not Eagles-like. They are usually relatively stingy and are willing to make kind of the hard kind of decisions more so than certain other franchises. You look at the Darius Slay getting released. That definitely sucks. But at the same time, it makes sense. They've been making a lot of make sense decisions recently, and obviously they just won the Super Bowl, so it feels better. It feels good. It feels like they've been doing a lot of the goods. As much I love Saquon Barkley. We just won a Super Bowl, and he was a massive part of it. He had the best season ever by an Eagles running back. He's instantly an Eagles legend. Everything like that is true. But there is certain things that make signing him right away to an extension, you gotta grimace just a little. He was perfectly healthy pretty much all season. He got banged up here and there with his wrist, and he would come limping off just sporadically. But overall, he was super healthy for Saquon Barkley. When they signed him to the 3-year deal, that was by far the biggest worry, it seemed like, is his durability, which, to be fair, this season put a lot of that to rest because he was a full, 3-down back. He came off on 3rd downs and certain drives to keep him fresh. Worked out perfectly. But, he's had a lot of injuries throughout his career with his ankle and knee, lower half injuries that, isn't a good start already for running backs who don't typically last, X amount of years in the NFL. It's just how it works. So part of me sees the extension and goes, this is definitely somewhat impulsy type of situation in a way, rewarding him obviously because of how amazing he was. I'm glad that he's going to be an Eagle, but I'm just worried that these 2 years, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, don't look nearly as good as this first year. And this extension seems like a very bad decision, mainly because it was, not needed, I should say. They weren't forced into doing this. They didn't have to. He wasn't going to sit out. I mean, that'd be pretty fucking crazy if he was. But overall, just kind of a weird decision, especially with like Howie Roseman. He typically not the biggest of like giving in to a player's, extension talks and contracts. You look at the linebackers that the Eagles have like just ran through in the last 4 years. TJ Edwards, I think it's TJ Edwards. The Bears, a middle linebacker, looked great on the Eagles. Led us in tackles, signed a pretty solid contract with the Bears, and it was kind of fine. Jordan Hicks looked really good on the Eagles. Let him walk. He signed a big contract with the Cardinals. Pretty sure he got released during it. So it's just the biggest thing with this one is that it just feels very weird, and it was unnecessary in a way just because they weren't being strong-armed into extending Saquon Barkley. Also, an issue with this is like the contract, this extension kicks in once he turns 30, which isn't great. Like the original deal seemed like every way of it was perfect. He didn't seem overpaid at all. He seemed paid perfectly, underpaid realistically for his talents, but the injuries and whatnot coming with it and the age. He just turned 28. The original 3-year deal would have ended at him at 30 years old. Typically, running backs hit a big wall at 30 or even 29. Once they get older, you can typically bring someone in that's really young, fresh, and cheap through the draft. So, I don't know. It just, personally to me, this feels like a very weird move for the Eagles. It definitely makes it better that they did just win the Super Bowl and that it's not like this necessary thing of, well, they didn't even win and now they're starting to spend all the money on people that got them there, but they didn't, pull through, so they can't build it up more. And with this whole thing coming out and everything with the Eagles, there's been reports that the whole Myles Garrett thing probably ain't gonna happen just because the money's gonna be really tight if they were to do it. So that's probably off the table. So I don't know. Hopefully they improve in the draft. I have faith that they'll do, at least pretty solid in the draft. I don't expect them to completely draft bust players. They basically only have second-round picks, so I don't expect it to be amazing. I don't expect it to be horrible, but I don't know. Leave your thoughts on the Saquon Barkley extension in the comments. I am lukewarm on it, mainly because he's going to be old. He is older for running backs already. It's a huge money for someone that's that old. He is amazing. He had the best season ever by an Eagle. Yes. I'm just worried because he was healthy the whole season, and you never know with aging running backs. And I would have accepted this if he was great next year and we're coming into his last season, and it's like, yeah, reward him that way. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Be sure to leave yours in the comments. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.